Facebook.com/TrueGunslinger, Twitter @JohnRyanott. It is June 3rd, 2019. I finally said I wanted to get into this. MLB The Show 19. I know we're a couple months into right now as this game released in the final week of March. But if you're getting acclimated to playing Diamond Dynasty, you want to play online against other people, or you just want to complete the missions and build your team, I want to talk about some of the things that you can do to jumpstart. And basically, this is not going to be a tips and tricks video, and it's not going to be something that tells you you're not going to get some of these players without playing the game. You're going to have to like playing baseball. And this is one of the best baseball games that I've played. This isn't coming from someone that buys the game every year. This is every 2 to every 3 years for me. But there's enough content in this game to warrant to do one of these videos. And if you have any other questions as I run through this quickly, after I post this video, I won't hesitate to get back to you. So, you're starting your team for the first time. Let's say you go into Diamond Dynasty. You can just choose your favorite team and you can have it be outfitted with those colors and all that. And this isn't a brag, but if you want to have a good team, and believe me, I do not have the best team by far in any means. However, I do have all this stuff with no money spent. This is also coming from someone that likes RPGs like Persona and Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, and you know how long some of those games take to play. I've played this game pretty much for almost that time period already, and I enjoy it. There's a lot of stuff that this game does right in terms of the hitting, the pitching, the on-the-field defense where it actually matters this year. This game is worth your time, and the cards that they put in there, unlike, the Madden series, the NBA series, NHL series, we actually have to pay to keep contracts, to keep guys on your team. Once you got a player, you get to keep them forever, so that works out pretty well. So if you're familiar with this from last year, you had Immortals and stuff like that. Better, and I didn't play the game last year, didn't think it was that great, but now you get to replace it this year with Team Affinity. So getting your team started, that's the purpose of this video. I want to talk about affinities real quick. So you could start with your favorite team or anything else like that, but I suggest you take a walk through and you see what some of these have to offer you very quickly, and you identify what you think is the most important. And I'll give you a quick little example of what some of those things mean on the left side as well, but I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. So I'm going to start with the Tigers here as I'm from Detroit, but I also want to throw out a quick shout out here. So basically what you're going to do is get 50 prestige points, and this works for every single affinity this way. You get to 50 prestige points, you get the top diamond, the top player that you want to be able to claim. So that's what you want to do. What I'm saying going through and identifying is you want to identify maybe as you start some of the MLB teams that have 2 players that you probably would like from this affinity, so you're not just working for one thing, you're trying to double dip and make your team as good as quickly as possible. And it's going to be a little bit of a grind as far as playing this game, but at least you're grinding and working towards something and getting better as I'm going through, and I'll talk about some of this stuff and getting better players without having to spend money. So I like this Tigers Affinity program because, Pudge, a lot of contact and perfect defense. I'm not really going to have to worry about that as I can upgrade that much later. I'm getting what I need to right now from a catcher, and I'm getting a guaranteed 91 starter Hal Newhouser with a dominant fastball and a very good secondary changeup curve. That's kind of how I want to work with it. When I'm using pitchers, I want your first pitch to be a fastball, and I want it to be a dominant one, 96 and above, with some good breaking stuff. That's the way I roll. Maybe you guys like the, dink and dunk, the Cliff Lee, the pinpoint accuracy, the Cole Hamels and stuff like that. I like the power fastball and the secondary breaking stuff. So this is a good combination for me. Now, in order to do these affinities, you need to get 50 prestige points, as I said, in order to get the top diamond. And the way that you can do this is a multitude of ways. If you want to open up your pocketbook and exchange things, you can do that as well. You can also do that by playing. But basically, I'm going to talk about here in this video Team Affinities and March to October. Really not going to see any gameplay here, as I'm going to keep it short and brief. What you're going to want to do here, you see you get 20 affinity points by completing March to October, and a subsequent 10 for every difficulty level. Instead of killing yourself to try to beat this in on Legend, I like to beat these things in on veteran, just a one step up from rookie. Give yourself a little bit of a challenge even when you're playing this game, because believe me, if you're playing this game for the first time, it's pretty damn difficult. It will kick you right in the ass. So doing this gets you 30 prestige points. Doing a second exchange, I'll just show you an example of what this will look like. It'll tell you what teams in the division are pretty much what you're looking to trade. You pop that in there. It tells you your value. You trade some of these guys in, and then you're done. That's another 15. That gets you 45. And innings with players. What you can end up doing is getting some of the cheapest commons on the market. If you want to go ahead and complete some of your daily missions, all that on the top, you can double dip there to get you some prestige points here for your inning programs. We can talk about that at a later date. But you can double dip about 4 games going into extended play CPU. Bam, that's your last 5 prestige points. And there you have 50. So, a couple other things before I talk about March to October. As I mentioned in this Tigers thing, you're going to want to find, or some of these other teams too, you're going to want to find, as you're starting out, a couple that will tell you, hey, I can take 2 players in from this program and it would look pretty good to me. Or identify positions that really mean a whole lot. Okay, so if you go after Jose Reyes for the Mets, you get not only a switch hitter that has good contact on both sides of the plate, really good vision, pretty damn good defense, and exceptional speed. Perfect for a leadoff hitter when you're first starting the game. I really like that card. As well, talking about when you're playing online, playing against anything in the CPU, playing moments, you only have a 1 in 5 chance most of the game modes you play in order to pick a starter, because you have 5 different starters. So you can go ahead and look at it as, I get a couple of the position players I want first. I want to mention this here as well. Ben Zobrist pretty much plays every position besides catcher, so you can throw him in there, and he's got a lot of versatility. Even late in the game now, 2 months in, I still got this guy on my bench at this point. Finally just got replaced by something else. Pretty good card that's balanced all the way around, that can play multiple positions, and does have some pop and some speed, so it works out pretty well. So you can go through and try to kick your own ass to get 5 of these starters, but I suggest, going after Reyes, Zobrist. The Tigers program works pretty good if you want to get a starter and a catcher that way. But you also can go through a few of these and you say, you want Felipe Rivero, Felipe Vasquez. You get a dominant bullpen arm. So anytime you go in there, you get bullpen arms. You can go after, what's a couple of the other ones I have? Raleigh Fingers from the Milwaukee Brewers. Yeah, you got sinker, slider, but you also got a fastball and a forkball and things like that. Zach Britton, the Baltimore Orioles are really difficult to have to play with, but Zach Britton, another power arm that's got sinker, slider, fastball. You work that way. Identify the players you want to go after, the team affinity, and you can get it through some exchanges and playing March to October. So March to October is the big game mode that they added in MLB the 19, which takes you, and I'll show you very quickly, you're not going to see through gameplay, but I'll talk about some of these examples. Takes you through a 162 game season, roughly within 4.5 hours. Something like that. You get to the game modes, you always have to get a win on opening day. You'll go through, if you get the win, you'll notice on the top right hand corner where you see this score right now, you get fire if you get some wins, which gives you, when the games are simulated, you can get some wins. And if you lose, you get cold, you get losses, and depending on the team you are, if you're the Miami Marlins and you're losing a lot of games, you're not going to be able to climb up those division standings because the team's not great. So you have to be very mindful of. That's why I think playing a veteran is a good starting point. I like to play on that anyway. I think it's a good balanced difficulty. Maybe you can sneak it up to All-Star, but I wouldn't recommend doing much after that. But it's a good balanced difficulty to go through these games, hit the points. It'll tell you to, pin a loss on a division rival, or sweep out the division champs, or make headway in the division, or try to hold on to a lead. Or there'll be certain points where, let's say I have the Marlins right now, I have Curtis Granderson, play well as Curtis Granderson in this game in a player lock mode, and he gets a permanent boost for the rest of the season. It'll have you break in for trying to steal wins or getting no hitters or keeping the shutout. There's a lot of different scenarios that are thrown in there. What I like especially when you get to trade deadline time, you do get a chance where you can say no a couple of times, but you go in there to try to find out some players that can help your team, and you only get to make one trade, so you need to find out which player is going to benefit your team the most, and then it gives you a big boost, especially when you're playing with a team like the Marlins, to bring into your team and help try to make a postseason push. It keeps it quick and keeps it brief. You start pretty much within the 6th or 7th inning. Most of the time, you go in through these games. Sometimes it's just one at bat, sometimes it's just 3 outs, and you can breeze through into a season. And you can also, when you're playing this game mode, get acclimated to playing the game, whether it's hitting, pitching, defense, fielding, speed, base running, and all of that. It's all the same stuff in the game mode, just in an abbreviated pace. So you get a lot of everything that you're used to. So if you do make it all the way through, let's say you play on veteran, you make it all the way through, you win the World Series, you get your 20 for winning and your 10 for beating on veteran, that's 30 of your 50 affinity points. And you're going to say, John, that seems to take a lot of time, but this is the last thing I want to talk about in this video. And again, if you have any other questions once I get this stuff posted, I will feel free to go ahead and answer some of them. As you play, as you notice, I have a level 40 gold, so I've played quite a bit throughout this point. Not just a lot of trading stuff. A lot of that stuff is by playing pretty much every 5 levels. You're not going to see that at this point because a lot of the stuff has been redeemed. But let's say, because I'm at 40 right now, there's 45, so let's scroll back. So there's your first level 100 reward. That's what you'd get. You get a guaranteed 99 where you get to choose one. So as you notice, when you go far enough in these levels, you'll get a certain pattern of what it'll be. It'll be, gear up choice. It'll be a low level diamond. It's one of the ones that you get if you really bought the game early. If you paid for the extra, you could do that. You don't need to pay for the extra. You just buy the game. Sometimes you can even probably buy it on sale at this point right now. There's a lot of content that's worth it. You can get a lot of good teams. Get the team I have without spending a single penny. But you get it by playing. And then every 40 levels at this point, once you get to the first diamond, you will get a high diamond. So I'm at my 4th pull. It was every 40 levels. So I know some of these guys are position players in the front. I went toward the back end because I get a guaranteed 99. Get 2 99s, 96, close out my bullpen. Just got Johnny Bench now. That was the last one I ended up getting. Some of these guys, I don't know what I'm going to do at this point for some of them because I don't know how they're going to help me anymore. But you get them all by playing the game. As I've showed you Frank Thomas and Joe Morgan and things like that. Got them all by playing. And some of this other stuff in here, again, if you want to go through it here, I'll do this quickly. Jose Reyes, an affinity player. Ben Zobrist, affinity player. This is XP, XP, and then there's a couple other things here. Once you get through your Xfinity, and once you get through your affinity, once you get through some of your XP, you will go into moments. This is where I'll close out the video here. So I wouldn't worry about the inning programs just yet. This, you'll need to, in these Sony moments, play with your Diamond Dynasty team for the most part. Not all of them, but this will allow you to get, a Griffey, a Cliff Lee, a Nick Senzel, future star. Be able to get players that you have there that will help out your team right away. So I hope this is a quick overview for you for MLB The Show 19 and getting your team started in Diamond Dynasty. I know the dislikes will be rampant because there isn't a lot of more details in here, but I wanted to keep this short and brief. And again, once I get this posted, I will be happy to answer any questions you have. Have a good one, guys. Peace out.